Recording in progress.
Okay, you're on.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to the April 17th, 2024 meeting of the Board of the Council on Aging. I'm Laurel Pahalski, I'm the Vice Chair, and I will be monitoring, or whatever you call, the meeting today. Could we introduce the rest of the board?
Larry McElhenney, I'm a member of the board.
Irene Thomas, member and secretary.
Laurel Pahalski.
Marie Waller, member.
Deborah Stevenson, member of the board.
Can I have a motion to open the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Marie, would you read the mission, please?
Sure.
Our mission, I should say.
The mission of the Council on Aging is to advocate for Groveland's older adults, to identify their needs, to develop and implement services to meet their health, economic, social, and cultural needs, to encourage maximum independence, and to improve their quality of life.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 20th, 2024 meeting?
I make a motion to approve them. Did you get my email with the two little?
Yes.
Okay.
Second?
Who seconded?
Deb.
Nancy, okay, thank you.
All in favor?
I'm abstaining because I was not
You
in
were not there.
attendance.
Correct. Oh,
I wasn't either.
so we can't vote on the minutes.
Oh, we don't have
Oh,
We don't have the quorum, so,
So we
okay,
can't do that.
put that on the agenda
Got
for
it.
next, thank you. We are going to go a little bit out of order for the agenda because our Assistant Director, Nisha Burke, is here, and rather than having her sit through this whole meeting, we'd rather have her get back to work. So she is going to do the discussion of the monthly meeting focus area, which is the COA Board Social Programming. Go, Nisha.
Great. So the programming, trips and events that I've chosen to do for the years were 2019, which was the last year that was right before the shutdown and we were fully staffed. And the second year that I did was 2023, which is when we were fully open after the shutdown, but we were not fully staffed yet. So I chose those 2 years. And why programming is so vital to older adults in our community. As individuals age, prioritizing physical health and mental well-being becomes increasingly critical. Recreation and wellness activities offer an effective way to support overall health, improve quality of life, and enhance longevity among seniors. These activities strengthen the body and stimulate the mind, fostering a sense of fulfillment and happiness. Understanding the importance of recreation and wellness in senior health is paramount to promoting active and healthy aging. So the graphs listed are for 2019 and 2023. So you can see this is for trips. And we had, the first column is duplicated, so anybody who attended a trip more than once, and then unduplicated is any older adult who attended a trip one time. Do you have any questions regarding the graphs?
So you combined the two?
I combined the two.
So day trip
so-
would be 52 plus 38? Or
No,
I'm
so
reading
that's-
that, okay,
the
that's,
same as the regular monthly
okay,
report.
right,
So
okay.
duplicated means, let's say the 5 of you attended a trip to the Holy Grail, and then you also, or the 5 of you attended a trip to another restaurant.
Mystery ride or whatever,
Okay,
right.
so that would be the duplicated versus
Okay.
unduplicated are unique individuals.
Okay, so unduplicated, 38 people, pretty much, individuals.
Came one time.
Came one
Yep,
time, and then some went
52
more.
returned. Yep.
Okay, got it. That's what I
Yeah,
thought, but,
Sure.
yeah, all right. So, no, this is great. The numbers are, again, I think because we weren't fully staffed and up and running for the whole year, 2023, This is
There were
wonderful.
restrictions regarding van capacity still
Exactly,
at
they
that
were
time,
still,
things like that.
exactly, in the beginning of 2023. And people were still very cautious about going out in the very beginning of the year, so.
Sure,
What's the difference between?
Plus, the
day-
band was out of commission for a while.
correct. Yes, that is correct. Yep.
Between day trip and van trip?
Day trip would be something that was offered by a tour company, and they went for the day in a motor coach. And van trip is that we used our own van, the COA van.
Oh, okay, I see.
So, but these are, the van trips are like mystery ride, but
Mystery
not
ride,
grocery shopping or
Correct.
appointments. Got
That's
it, thank
correct.
you.
Yep.
Okay.
So the
Okay.
15 capacity, going to a restaurant, going to the mystery rides, a museum,
Casino.
encore, yes, different things like that, correct.
Got it, thank you.
And the day trips are the ones that they sign up for
And take a motor coach.
through the, right.
Yep.
A whole different, you don't really have anything to do with that. Or-
Yes,
Well, you
we do.
do. Oh,
Yep.
you do too, okay.
Yep.
Okay. It's great.
So we would.
For that, we would promote it, we would collect payment, we
Oh,
would
that
arrange
happens
the
here.
pickup
Okay.
here, things like that.
Right, very
Yep.
good. Okay.
The flyers would
We're
be in the
learning,
newsletter.
we're learning, still learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the next page, we have just regarding the programming and trips data were taken again from the years 2019 and 2023. 2019, as I had said, was the last time the COA was fully staffed before the shutdown, and 2023 was the first year the COA was fully open after the shutdown, but did not have a full staff. During this shutdown, the COA remained open, delivering vital services such as meals, care packages, masks, and socially distant visits, along with the Pen Pal program, friendly phone calls, and transportation. Later in the shutdown, the COA would also assist in scheduling vaccine appointments and providing transportation to vaccine clinics and pharmacies. And so the next chart going into 2019 is programming and events for that year. If you have any questions regarding this data.
Can you help us understand congregate meals?
Sure. Congregate meals were any meals that we had here at the COA. Any kind of luncheon
Okay.
at that time. And we had, it was a special meal, but it was provided by the Merrimack Valley Nutrition Program, so they would come in and provide the meal. They don't do that currently. They did stop that for a while, and Traveling Chef has taken that place. But they would come in and barbecue, or they would bring sandwiches or some kind of pre-prepared meal. That was through the Merrimack Valley Nutrition Project.
Did they ha-
Alicia, for a number like 142, is that indicating that this happened 3 times or 4 times that year?
Probably around 4 times, yes.
Thank you.
Was it something that people paid for?
It was a donation, just like Meals on Wheels. It was suggested of a $2 donation for that event. And the
So that
staff
was-
from the meals program would come and serve and do the meal.
And then the difference between that and social event was the meals that.
Were catered that we would put on.
That we put on, like
or
the
put on under
Christmas
the
meal
tent.
here, or
Yep.
under the tent, or,
Yep, something that
oh, it's
Chicken
in the other
Connection
day?
maybe catered.
Yes, okay.
Yep.
All right. Very good.
What's the difference between community education and information sharing?
So community education would be anything that came in for, I believe, Age Span would come in, we would have their staff come in and do different programs on nutrition, fall prevention, things like that. And then information sharing might be something that a lecture, or if Buttonwoods came in, something like that, on a specific topic.
Okay.
Okay.
And would cultural events then be more like a musical performance or
Yes.
something? Okay,
Mhm.
so
Entertainment.
information sharing is really like a lecture.
Yes.
cultural is more of an arts entertainment program. Got it.
Yes. And the education would be something that we would
Yeah.
be teaching them
Yeah.
regarding nutrition, medical, health screenings, different things like that.
All right.
So recreation would be,
Like the ping pong, something like that, anything,
and in 2019, that would have been, did you have game days in 2019?
yes, we did.
Ah,
Yep, we
okay.
did. The movies, that would be recreation as well.
Okay, that's-
Movie
I was
Monday.
going, where would you put Monday, movies, cultural, or?
Now,
Could be.
Where were the movie Mondays?
Recreation
Ah,
Recreation,
as
yeah.
well.
Thank you.
Sure.
So that's why there's no congregate meals in 2023, because they are no longer doing that.
That's correct.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I would just add, for just future thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, but congregate meals really meaning that, there is on-site food preparation. So there are a lot of, community centers where that is a regular part of
That
their
they- yeah.
programming.
Right.
Yes.
We don't
for
have the
sure.
facilities for
Yeah.
that.
Right,
Yes, exactly.
at this time.
And under these categories, was there duplication, for instance, would something be counted both as a community education and an information sharing? Could the
No.
same event, so these are unique events?
They are, yes, that's correct.
Wow, okay, so that's
Good question. I was assuming that,
a lot of different unique events.
right.
So I have a question.
Sure.
If we were doing the same thing for this year, where would Maria Stefanos go?
That was your event. I would let you decide that.
Well,
I just happen to think that. Is that,
I would say it's shared responsibility, one, because you manage the my senior center. I don't remember where it was put. I think we could look at this month.
I was just curious.
Yeah, well, it'll actually
Look it up
be,
in my
well,
senior
Because some of these
center.
are kind of, it could be this, or it could be that, or, which file do you put it in? kind of
Right.
thing.
and I will say that we did change some of the categories this current
yeah, I
year in
mean, it
FY
evolves.
'24. But I think in the programming numbers for March that Nisha pulled, it's under social events / recreation.
That makes
I was gonna
sense.
say social
That
event
makes
because it
sense.
was a Women's Day.
Oh, yeah,
Right, it's
event.
not
It
really
was the
information
title.
sharing, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Here it is, it's Maria's, yeah, so it's social events
Makes sense.
recreation.
Social
That's Maria.
events, recreation.
So they changed, like she said, they put them together in 2024, rather than having separate, which makes a lot more sense, you know?
Yeah, the categories are tried to be geared towards the annual report from the state. So
Right, that you
they,
need to do.
my senior center can be tweaked to go
Oh,
with
yeah.
that, which is good. Any other questions about 2019? All right, the next one is the 2023 programming.
Did everybody, I noticed as soon, I read this when you sent it out yesterday, and the big difference is groceries.
Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That wasn't
for
something
sure.
that we offered into, pre-pandemic, it wasn't
So
something
it
that we.
was, yep, it was offered, it was just categorized in another way.
Okay,
It was under services. We added the grocery piece of it when we received the fridge and the freezer, but it was under services and office consults for
Okay.
outreach. That's how it
Okay.
was. So the
So
numbers will be there, but in a different way.
okay.
And they were in the outreach presentation last
Okay.
month.
So how long have we had the fridge and the freezer? I can't remember.
November of 22, I believe. November of 22. But they weren't
Okay.
up and running, I think.
Right,
for
so in
about
2019, we weren't doing this?
Correct.
Right,
It was
so-
only non-perishable items.
Right,
Yep.
okay, all right.
Very, very
Non-perishable
small.
pantry.
And you didn't even have it there. That was where your office was. I
It
don't.
was in the accountant's office.
Accountant's
yes,
office, yeah.
yep.
So
But we
since
did
then
go
you've
to our neighbor's
moved and-
table. We went every Wednesday
Right,
with
you had
the
the van trips, right, right. But yeah, that's what jumped out at me right away, that the.
Yeah, certainly. The groceries
I
have
mean, that's-
increased a lot. It's great.
Nisha, do you think that there, as you were getting the counts of people, especially for 2019,
Yep.
do you think some of these numbers were higher, but perhaps you missed that person that was attending?
It could be, yep, if people didn't sign in. We also didn't have the kiosk then.
Right, exactly.
So people
That's-
did sign in by paper. Yep.
I'm just,
But they did sign up ahead of time as well.
Yes.
With my senior center, I would plug them in manually.
okay.
So,
And you still
You would.
check the lists manually?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that, excuse me, not everyone comes over from 3B Fit to click in.
yep,
So,
exactly. Same for the
Double
movies.
check.
Some people go right there, check in. Some
Right.
people do both. So,
Right, right.
yep, I definitely check
So
both
I
lists.
just want to follow up and say thank you for being so conscientious about keeping track of the numbers and the people in the attendance. That's got to take some time.
It's important, so
Yeah.
we do definitely
yeah, well,
double check
that's.
for sure.
For your annual
Wow.
report, you need those numbers, exactly.
For sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Great. This really shows how far, and I mean, when you're going to compare this year, 2023, to this present year, there's going to be a great difference too.
Definitely.
You know, I
Yes.
mean, just even thinking back to 2023, the van was out.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a director for half the year,
You didn't have a van driver, you didn't have
Didn't
two
have a
van
van
drivers for much
driver.
of the.
Driver.
right?
Yep.
Or a van for part of the
And we
time.
didn't have an outreach person. I mean, so
Correct,
this is
yeah.
all going to even get better, which is great.
Definitely.
Now that
For
we
sure.
have more of the pieces of the puzzle together,
Mm-hmm.
we can get a fuller picture when we compare 23 and 24.
Yes.
That will be fun.
And
There'll be
you guys
more
are,
numbers.
because you're fully staffed and, you're able to publicize better too.
Yes.
You know, you're building community awareness and knowledge. So,
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I know I've been coming to more events than I used to. Don't turn your head.
Sadly, I have not. Not by choice.
Any other questions about 2023?
It looks great.
So this is showing the total event sign-ins. So that would be signing in my senior center that everybody was recorded, 2019 versus 2023. So you can see that the number for 2023, even though, we may have offered less and we're not fully staffed, the number is still a lot higher than 2019. 2019 is 2214 duplicated compared to 3245 duplicated.
Wow.
It's 1,000, more than 1,000
Right,
more.
Yeah.
yep. So,
1,031, wow.
And if you look at the unduplicated, it seems like in 2019, it was more of the same people. Now, or, no, different people. You have a lot of the same people returning,
Returning
which is,
in 2023.
which is good, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Try to say that in English.
So here is the multifaceted benefits of recreational and activities for older adults. There are physical health advantages, mental health boosts, emotional well-being enhancement, social interaction and connectivity, and impact on longevity and quality of life.
So I just want to reiterate here, and again, Nisha does a good job putting it here, but, this is really one of those essential services that we provide. I think, it is our job to make it look fun and enticing, but absolutely noting that there is a direct link between being social and the health advantages for one's life.
And the impact of community centers and older adult living facilities community centers and senior living facilities often offer an array of recreational activities ranging from fitness classes to arts and craft workshops. These institutions create nourishing environments where seniors can explore new activities, meet peers, engage in enriching experiences. They play a significant role in promoting wellness and active aging within the older adult community.
Active aging, good phrase.
And then here's some future trends in recreational activities for older adults. The future of recreational activities for seniors is promising, with innovations and advancements that aim to enhance the quality and accessibility of these activities. The integration of technology, such as virtual reality, online gaming, can provide diverse and exciting new avenues for recreation. Meanwhile, the growing emphasis on holistic well-being is leading to the development of activities that cater to multiple aspects of health, from physical and mental to emotional and social. As we move forward, these trends will continue to reshape the landscape of recreation for older adults, offering even more opportunities for engagement, enjoyment, and wellness.
Online gaming, huh? Enough of that at home, that's for sure.
And so the next chart shows the average daily attendance check-ins for 2019 and 2023. So I thought that would be fun to just include.
And this includes all aspects of the COA, including maybe checking in for food services,
Yes, that's correct.
transportation and everything?
Yes.
Thank you.
Again, well over 1,000 increase.
Wow.
Am I reading it right? Yes.
Mhm.
Seeing these charts is remarkable too, when you see,
See them all
it's
put
here.
together and see, I know you see only maybe a few people came to one thing. A lot of people came to, like the Maria Stefanos event, but when you put them all together, it's a lot of people who do attend regularly.
And a lot of people who therefore are being served
Yes.
in positive
Sure.
ways.
And then it makes you get excited, like, what could you do if you had more space?
Exactly. Many things.
Really?
Virtual reality, for sure. Any questions about the attendance charts? All right.
So I'm curious
And
if
I
you
love
could
this.
give us an overview of this year, 2024, in relation to this. We won't hold you to it, but.
Sure, no, there's definitely, we have
Upcoming.
some more fitness classes available. The in-person luncheons are back, along with traveling chefs, so there's different opportunities for meals. We have programs, we have Ask the Nurse, which is back. We had a blood pressure clinic previously, so she's back offering B12 shots, blood pressure, which is important. People may not feel comfortable going to their doctor, going to a clinic where they don't know people, but they might be comfortable with her. So coming in for that is great. We have,
You
the
don't have to
movies
wait
are
3
back.
months.
We were doing them once a month. We're doing them twice a month. So they've been well attended.
Good.
Yeah.
Question, have you noticed a difference in numbers? Because they used to be on Tuesdays, and now they're on Mondays. Does
There
that
hasn't-
made a difference?
No, there hasn't. And it actually, with the different Monday holidays, sometimes it's less,
Right.
depending that we're able
Right.
to offer. So
Yeah,
we
I was
might
just
change
wondering.
it for the summer again, but yeah. Not too much of a difference in attendance.
And are you noticing more new, so I guess what I'm saying is, are you seeing people that stayed away now coming back that used to come? I mean, with the population, I mean, sometimes there's other
For
changes
sure,
that cause them
people
not
are
to come back.
definitely coming back.
And
who-
how about new people? Are you seeing
A
more?
lot of new
Good.
people, yes. I
Good.
would say a lot of new people, especially with the pantry. A lot of people are coming in for that. And then they're getting services they're coming to Traveling Chef, they're meeting and coming to a craft or coming to a program together. So
Good.
definitely new people for sure.
And I think even the volunteer program that has been.
Volunteer is very big,
You have
very
gotten,
big. Yep.
excuse me, volunteers that have been
Mhm.
sitting in their homes for a long
Yes.
time. There are many of them, and they're coming out, which is good.
For sure, yes.
So.
We have a large, neat driving basis now.
Okay, good.
So it's
good.
really good. There's about 30 drivers total.
Oh, wow,
So
that's
it's nice.
excellent.
So other drivers, if you live in Georgetown, you can also drive for Groveland. If you're a Groveland driver, you can drive for other towns. So they've opened that up.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to have about 8, but because they've opened up the net a little bit, it's nice.
Oh,
Great.
Yeah,
Are you
it's really
still
good.
in need of drivers for, I believe it was the Wheels?
Meals on Wheels.
Wheels on Meals.
I
Meals
haven't-
on Wheels.
I haven't heard anything from her as of
Because that's
late.
more through West Newbury, isn't it? Is that who
Well,
sets it up?
so there's Groveland routes. It's the meals for the
Mhm.
area are at West Newbury. So the driver goes there to pick it up and then delivers to the Groveland. But I think in general, they are always in need and welcome. So anybody that is interested in NEAT and or Meals on Wheels, you know, I'm happy to put them in contact because
That's what I'm trying to do. People, if you want to volunteer.
For sure,
Yes, I
yes.
need- yeah, okay.
And it can be flexible as well. I think both for NEAT and Meals on Wheels for our particular region anyway. It seems, you know, they put out the word that this is needed. Hopefully, you know, and it tends to work out. People pick it up and are able to fulfill that need. So
Thank you, Nisha. That was
Thank you.
welcome.
excellent
Excellent.
presentation.
Thanks very much.
I like little charts and graphs. It just
Oh,
makes it look
good.
so. And in
Excellent.
color, too. you know,
Yes.
it's very nice.
So, I think this is on topic, but it might be a
Sure.
little off topic. So since the pandemic,
Mhm.
between 2019 and 2023, with people coming back, are you noticing, have you noticed a pattern in mood and desire to be engaged?
Definitely. People are happy to not be looking at a screen. They're happy to just have a cup of coffee with someone, talk face to face. I think people really enjoy the luncheons. The luncheons we've had have had a large wait list. So I think just sharing a meal together, people really are enjoying that,
And they're
coming back
actually
for that.
verbalizing this and giving you that input?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
Good.
Yep.
I mean, I think every meal has had a wait list, which
Yes.
means we need a bigger space.
For sure.
We do need a bigger space.
Much bigger space.
Build it and they will come. Okay. Anything else, anybody?
No, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you, Nisha.
putting all of this together. This is
Definitely.
good information to have.
Excellent. Yes.
You might do
Sure.
it every year with the graphs and the charts when you do your annual report, but this is really
Nice for you to
helpful
be able to see it as
information
well, for sure.
all of us
Yeah.
and for the community.
Definitely.
It'll be very interesting to see 2023 versus 2024
It
when we get to
will.
the end of this year, because
For
we're growing.
sure. Yeah.
And this will be
Lots of
put
good
in with our
things.
minutes, so that if anyone that's watching this would like to see this report, we can, once the minutes are posted, this will be included as part of it, right? Because I think, well, it should be. I mean, we put your report in, and this shows a lot of what the COA is doing. So, I mean, across the board, it touched the food pantry, it touched the van rides, it touched social. So, yes, thank you. All right, get back to work.
Thank you.
Thanks,
All
Nisha.
right, thank you.
Thank you, Nisha.
Okay, so I guess we'll go back up to follow the agenda the way it was written, and that would be for director's reports. So we'll give it over to you, Alyssa.
excellent. So just a few highlights, recapping at the top is the FY25 budget. We'll can go into more detail, but you know, the big change being that the assistant director is now fully paid through the omnibus budget for FY25, or at least that's the proposed one to go out. Community Connections, I had the pleasure of meeting with the CEO of Bethany Communities, just a general introduction meeting. I know that they're looking, connecting with the town as a whole. So I've connected with him and hoping to make a strong partnership as they continue to grow and build their own housing for older adults in the area. And along those lines, I met with the Haverhill Breakfast Exchange meeting. It wasn't anything formal, just they were having their monthly meeting, and I was invited to just say, hi, this is who we are and what we're doing. Yeah, so that was a nice exchange. And then, as you all know, we had our appreciation lunch just last week. We had, over 60 people invited. Certainly, we wish we could do it at a different day and time to make everyone be able to join us, but we were lucky to have 35 people who can make the in-day luncheon time. We had it at Whittier Votech, which was a really wonderful space. It was my first time there. I thought the food was great, service was great, and of course, having the people around us was tremendous. So appreciate that.
And that says something, too, that you had 60 people to invite that were volunteers for this.
So I
COA.
would note that
Some were other
volunteers,
people, yes.
meaning, we named it specifically to be an appreciation lunch, knowing that to actively support the COA and in its mission can mean a few different things. We really defined it as, people that perhaps don't have the time but have the financial means to be able to support us, to those that give in-kind donations to the COA, and of course, those that give their time.
And the government officials, and,
Yeah.
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 But I mean, that says a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Financial highlights, I put in there just, and I can start doing it for the future months too, just sort of the breakdown of where the contribution's coming in, what that breakdown looks like. So we received, a fair amount from individuals' donations. Again, these aren't solicited donations. These are just donations that are the people are recognizing the good work that we do and support
I
us.
just have a question. So like programming and transportation, are those like the actual fees?
Yeah, so
That's
those
the
are
$8
fees
van ride
collected, and/or sometimes we do have a basket for pay-as-you-like and
Okay.
coming from
Or like
there.
that's the
Yep.
whatever for 3D Fit and.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
Well, not for 3B
No,
Fit, but yeah.
No, but for yoga.
We don't pay extra.
For yoga, sorry. We pay for yoga.
Oh, yeah, so the individuals pay for. the
Yeah,
fees,
so
right,
just
so
to
that-
clarify for those out there, there are a few programs that the participants pay the facilitator or teacher directly. And then there are programs that are managed a little bit more hands-on through the COA office. So things like for programming would be, the luncheons, the $5 for the luncheons for
okay.
people coming in and things like that.
And then also, you have the money, like, someone comes to the movies, so you have a basket
Yeah.
out there. It doesn't
Yeah.
say you have to pay $2, $10, $1, or nothing, so that money's collected, yeah.
So I have a question about the Market Basket gift cards.
Uh-huh.
At one point, I remember we were talking about, might there be a way to make
Policy.
a policy and make this sustainable? So I wondered how that connected with the gift cards that were received last month. Were they just randomly given, or is there something
I
happening
don't think
that's
that
sustainable?
they're ever randomly given. We do
Okay.
so with intentionality, making
Sure,
sure that
sure.
those that who need it are able to get it. Carrie did just hand in a proposed policy, and so we're working on that. So right now, we still are fortunate enough to be able to, through donations like this, to be able to give about once a month. But again, we really want to be able to have something that is sustainable, something that is equitable, and so that when people ask questions, we all will be able to point to the answer.
So were these cards given by different individuals, or did they come from, say, the church?
These particular cards were given by individual.
Oh, okay, thank you.
But yeah, absolutely, the Groveland Congregational Church is a huge donor. This past month, Our Neighbors Table had given some, and those aren't included in this number, but,
Ah.
yeah.
I think the Groveland Congregational, I think, is trying to do $600 every quarter, $600 worth of gift cards every quarter
Wow.
is the intention.
Awesome. So absolutely, again, my senior center does allow us to really drill down into where the numbers, the financial numbers are. So certainly if you have ever any more questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thought I would recap the FY25 budget updates. So, many of us attended the Board of Selectmen meeting on March 20th, with our main objective being to advocate for the assistant director's salary to be aligned with the established benchmarks within the town's compensation system. Really highlighting the equitable compensation while also securing the full town funding at that minimum level. So glad to report that was approved by the Board of Selectmen at that meeting. And of course, next steps are to be at the warrant. It didn't copy clearly on here, but this is, again, just says all the numbers specifically. Any questions on the numbers?
Well, we lost our expense line and our
Yes, I thought it was a big one.
our vehicle maintenance expense.
Yeah, so at that selectmen's meeting, while they did approve the full salary for the assistant director, they did completely remove our expense line, which was, a nominal amount of, about $6,000, in which we will not have covered by the town for FY25. So we'll cover it with grants. I think that was one of the reasons I chose the Gandhi quote on front. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service of others, and that just really being fully aware and present of who we're serving, and that's why we do it, what we do, and why we'll continue to make it happen. So Nisha had her assistant director's report in here, in addition to the report she already gave. Just highlights being a couple new things coming up this month. Goats to Go program in partnership with the library, as well as the police department has generously said that they will sponsor an ice cream social. And just to highlight that the newsletter will be coming out next month. Those who receive it via email quite possibly could receive it this week, so keep an eye out for that. We do have T-Mobile tablets from a previous technology grant that are available. So if people are interested and would like to check, they don't need to check it out, but if they would like to talk to us about the opportunity, definitely feel free to come on in, and we're happy to set that up, and or Matt Nichols from the library Q&A can help set that up too. Graphs for the events and social activities from March 24. Again, no big things. I mean, the big bump in number came from the Maria Stefanos event, but other than that, things are pretty steady and continuous and growing. A couple of event highlights is this Saturday, it's not the April 29th, this Saturday, April 20th.
20th.
At 9:30, we are hosting a Dementia Friends information session. This is a free 1-hour session, a really great opportunity to learn about the 5 key messages of how dementia affects people. You can gain insight into communication strategies and just really see how you as an individual can make a difference in just gaining an understanding of dementia. So please do come. Would love if you RSVP'd because then we can plan accordingly. I would just ask for this program and any of our programs, if you do RSVP, please show up. It is, because we really do count on it, absolutely acknowledge things come up. Totally get it. But, then just let us know if you can. We want to be able to plan for the best event possible, and we can only do that if we can have a good idea who will be there.
While we're on that subject,
Yes.
and it's very much appreciated when we get the robocalls reminding us what's coming up this
Yeah.
week, because I look at the calendar when it comes out and I say, yeah, that looks interesting, but I can't be sure, but
Yeah,
it's good
yeah.
to have that robocall to remind us,
Awesome.
so thank you.
Yeah, so robocalls go out is also, I've started updating the Council on Aging website once a week, so it says the events coming up there. Certainly Facebook is active. Again, understand that things come up. Both, maybe you thought you weren't going to have time and all of a sudden you do. That's great too. You can also show up last minute, but again, just let us know if you can. That would be ideal. There are a few spots left on the van trip coming up on this coming Tuesday, April 23rd, to the Icon Museum in Clinton. So please do let us know if you're interested in joining us for that. And as Nisha mentioned earlier, this is our 2nd month in a row that we are having the program Ask the Nurse with our town nurse, Anita Wright. Heard really great feedback last time around, so hope that it continues. And, she's definitely open and willing to meet individually. If for some reason this time doesn't work, please don't hesitate to give us a call, and we can help make that work. Any questions on the upcoming events? Engagement celebration is kicking a little bit more into high gear. We have 3 major sponsors for the event. As many of you saw on the flyer, we have Nichols Village as the title sponsor. We have Bethany Communities and Wingate Residences as our other major sponsors. Definitely still have plenty of room for others that would like to sponsor. We have, I put the link on this document. I can put it online as well, that opportunities, for individuals, certainly you could donate as you would like. For businesses, starting at around $200 or so for a vendor table. So please do check that out. We'd be more than happy to help facilitate that. Our event flyer for the engagement celebration will go into the newsletters next week as an insert. We're also going to do an every door direct mail 6x9 postcard to residents age 40 and above here in Groveland, which will go out in May, about 6 to 4 weeks before the event. And certainly in partnership with our sponsors to help get word out too. I believe Nichols will be doing a mailing too for theirs. I just want to make a note that, yes, we heard from the Maria Stefano's event. It's a really long walk from the parking lot to the school. I get it. Looking into how we can make it even more accessible, because once you get into the school, it is 100% accessible. Everything's on one floor, no stairs, no barriers. But getting to those doors, I know can be a challenge. So looking at potentially seeing how we can get a golf cart to get people to transport from their cars to to the front doors. So if there are any ideas out there, I'm open to hearing and listening.
So does Pentucket have one or more golf carts that would be available for us to use?
Oh, I hadn't asked the school themselves.
I'm quite sure I remember seeing at least one golf cart moving
I will
around.
ask. Okay.
There could be one or more.
Yeah, yeah.
Grounds for sure, and I think
Valet parking.
athletics, I think the
Well, that's a
athletic
good
department.
idea. Yeah, for some reason I didn't even think to.
So Mr. Seymour
contact them.
might
Okay.
be able to make some
Yeah, yeah.
available.
Okay, that's great.
Or we could do
Also-
valet parking.
Valet pass.
Well, so that was my initial idea, but then I was just, yeah,
Gotta have
liability.
the
was
tags,
my
and you've got to
mind.
give the keys back.
But I did think about that too. That could be a potential if we can't get this.
So I'm wondering also, when you talk about volunteers, so if one of us from the board were to be a volunteer that
Yep.
day, how might volunteering limit our participation in activities?
Yeah, so I don't think, my aim is for it not to limit, that you would be in the space that you want to participate in. So, the bulk of the day, it's about 4 hours, is happening in the main room. So it's the one, well, also not more details, but setup, it will be pretty minimal for those of you that were at the Maria Stefano's event. The school has a phenomenal custodial team.
Yes.
They do all the heavy lifting in regards to the tables and things. But we'll want to put up signage just to direct people where to go. We'll want to set up our registration check-in table, that kind of thing, so set up. And then we'll need somebody at the actual registration tables to check people in. We'll need somebody at the refreshment table. But again, all that's in the main room. Once we have our keynote speakers start, we'll encourage volunteers to say, okay, we're closed for registration, and then you can go ahead and take a seat, with everybody else. And then once it comes to guiding people to the workshops, ideally I would like to have a volunteer for each of the workshop rooms. Presumably, volunteers will choose a workshop that they want to attend so that they can be in that room with them. I'm hoping to do surveys at each of those just so we can get feedback on what worked well for next year. But so you'll be in there, and then, yeah, that's pretty much the thing.
Well, I also wondered if Mr. Seymour would be able to connect us with middle school or especially high school volunteers who might be earning service hours.
Yeah, so that's on my list to reach out, but I'm gonna get the descriptions and exactly the numbers of what we need and where. Yep.
Because they would clearly know, this is the way to the bathroom, this is the way to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really that complicated,
not.
but yes.
Yeah. But they might
Absolutely.
also be able to earn service hours
Yeah.
for that day
Yeah.
and in a space with which they're familiar.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yep, so those are the big updates there in regards to the engagement celebration. Any questions, other questions or thoughts on that? No?
Thanks for doing all this work.
Yeah, I'm
The
excited for it.
organization, wow.
Excited for it. Food and security pantry updates. As you'll also see on the stats for programming, during the month of March, we provided 71 attendees. Again, that's duplicated number to the food pantry, and that was, a little over 1,000 pounds of food. This month, I spoke to Carrie, our food pantry manager. She's seen a lot of requests for laundry supplies, so things like laundry pods. Even if you get a big tub, then we can divvy them up
Yeah.
into smaller individual portions, fabric softeners, if you buy a box of them, again, we can put them into smaller bags to give out. She's also received, I think at one time somebody very kindly, generously donated a lot of V8 juice. Our community really loved it and would love to see more V8 juice. So if anybody out there has some that they would like to share, our community would definitely love it, and it's definitely provides nutrients as well, so it's a nice thing. Any thoughts or questions about food and security? We are hoping to get, the payment's been made to get the freezer, so hopefully that will be coming soon.
What is happening to the other freezer? Will that remain, or do you? Is that
It will
gonna
not
have
be, we will not have two. We just don't have space for it. And the point of this one really was to be more accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, so what happens? You have to send it, I'm trying to think.
I
Is
talk with
there
the,
anything
I
in
talk
town?
with the custodian and where he
Right,
has a
because I
plan.
think it's
It-
anything that that,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. we
Okay.
got it.
Is there another department that needs a freezer, in other words? That's what I think has to happen.
So I've gone through the steps of notifying the
Okay.
custodian and they will take care of it.
Okay, good. Well, just wondering.
I mean, looking at the price, it wasn't that expensive. Certainly still works well. But yeah. COA tent. Yay, it's that time of year. So, beautiful weather. We want to get people outside but before we can do that, we would love to have the tent up. So this Thursday, tomorrow, the 18th at 10 o'clock. Larry has so kindly taken lead on this project and will be out there along with myself, other members of the staff, and volunteers to wash the tent. I think we probably have enough volunteers for washing, but certainly more the merrier. Many hands make light work. And Monday the 22nd, next Monday, at 10 o'clock, we will actually be setting up the tent, and that we really do need more people. Certainly it is a physical activity, but we simply cannot do it with small numbers. So please, if you are available, if you or someone you know is available, how long do you think that might take?
If we are able to get the tent canopy cleaned, the actual putting up of the tent, it would be less than an hour. If we had, a dozen people or more to help, and we really need, it is definitely more hands make lighter work. And I also want to point out that tomorrow, in addition to washing the canopy of the tent, we'll also be cleaning some of the signage for the townwide yard sale that's in storage right now and has been in storage for a couple of years. So we'll be using, a mild solution of Dawn dish detergent and maybe some vinegar solution. So it won't be harsh chemicals, but people might want to wear gloves and prepare to get a little messy. We did clean the sides of the tent last year before we put them away, so they should be good, but the canopy was too big a job at that point in time. The weather tomorrow isn't going to be particularly warm or sunny, but it isn't going to be too windy either. So I think if we have 8 to 10 people, we could make quick work of it all, maybe 2 hours on tomorrow for tomorrow's activity, and I would think an hour, maybe an hour and a half on Monday. So anyone out there who hasn't volunteered, please give the Council on Aging office a call and tell us that you'll be there. We'd appreciate your help.
Awesome. Any other tent questions? All right, well, I just again wanted to reiterate on behalf of the COA staff, just a really heartfelt appreciation to the community at large. As I said, we weren't able to get everybody in the room at the luncheon, but certainly wish that we could have, because not only do we do this for the community, but we certainly couldn't provide the level of support that we're able to do without the support of the community. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your excellent report and what you do.
Indeed.
Okay, let's see. Old business, we just discussed the engagement symposium, the outreach and food pantry services updates, Friends of the COA update. Do you want to take that, Larry?
Sure. The Friends met last week or 2 weeks ago. And of course, this is a fundraising group that works with our board and with the Council on Aging office. And we're kicking around some different ideas for some fundraising activities. But as always, that's another group that would welcome people who are willing to roll up their sleeves and get involved. The projects that we have in mind aren't ready for publication yet. We're still working things out, but we, along with the Council on Aging, the Friends is you're making a comeback. And we have new faces coming to every meeting, and welcome them all. So,
I think maybe I would add, but stop me if I'm overstepping, but they do have 2 openings on their board.
Yes.
An opening for president and an opening for secretary.
right, thank you for reminding me about that.
And you don't have to be a resident of Groveland. You don't have to be an older adult. Note that the meetings are typically Thursdays at 3 o'clock in the afternoon at this present time. But, yeah.
Okay. Subcommittee updates?
I do want to make a comment.
Yeah.
I know further down
Right.
on the agenda is a note about the town meeting and the revision of our bylaws. I was not at the last Council on Aging Board meeting, and because of that, I was not in attendance on April 8th when the bylaw revision was brought up at the Board of Selectmen meeting. And I feel that if I had been there, I would have been able to short-circuit some of the negativity that came and caused a 5-0 vote on pulling this item from the town warrant. We worked hard on that. And I apologize, I think I let the board down by not being in attendance in that meeting, because I think that we could have changed the direction of the discussion, but
But Larry, it was, put for the warrant. We really had no indication that there was any concern, so don't take it on yourself. None of us attended.
well, I think that, I didn't follow through, and so that
Well, neither did I.
so I think that's a,
Can I think that we do, I'm not sure if this is the appropriate point in our agenda to address it.
I
but-
think, yeah.
But I do think we need to address the way the fact or the appearance that our intentions were seriously misconstrued at the
Definitely.
meeting. And I know I have some things that I would like to say about that. I'm just not, should we do it now? Should we wait?
I move it down the agenda. Move it down to its
Move it down,
proper
okay.
place on the agenda.
All right, so we will, when we address that under new business, okay? Okay, good, thank you. Is anything other that we need to discuss on old business? Okay, so now, under new business, future programs, you've already, unless you have any other to add, I think we've got a lot of things coming up. And then issues and items for town meeting. This is where I believe going through the agenda is where we should bring this up.
So I will defer to
Deb?
Deb.
Okay. So, I think we do, I don't know that there's anything we can do for town meeting. I do think that we need to schedule a meeting with the board, at least representatives from the boards of selectmen and the finance board and the town administrator to discuss this. Some of the things that I would like to see addressed in that meeting is, first of all, do we need bylaws? We have bylaws, so our assumption, our good faith assumption was that since we have bylaws, if they need to be revised, it's our responsibility to revise them. So that's the first question. Assuming that we do need bylaws, then our intentions, which I would really just like to clarify so that people who perhaps saw the Board of Selectmen meeting and might be watching this understand that our intention was never to circumvent the Board of Selectmen's approval of hires. It was never intended to circumvent the town administrator and the finance board's salary guidelines. Our sole intention of the changes that granted hiring authority to the director were because our original bylaws indicated that our full board needed to approve every single direct report of the director. As a board, we felt, and as it's written in our current proposed revision, that the director should be able to choose the direct reports subject to consultation with our personnel subcommittee, which I believe is clearly stated. That was our sole intention. Our intention was never to create any kind of bureaucracy that would be able to subvert town guidelines on spending or on hiring. That was our sole intention. And it is unfortunate that we were never given the opportunity to answer those questions that the Finance Board and the Selectmen and the Town Administrator legitimately had. And there is no reason why they shouldn't have those questions, but it could have been resolved had they addressed those questions to our board prior to that meeting. Also, in the previous item in the Selectmen's meeting agenda that night, they did reach out to the building inspector for clarification on an unregistered cars issue. I don't believe that they tried to reach out to our director or to any member of the board that evening to get clarification. Secondly, one of the things, since we were revising our bylaws to update how we actually operate and what our subcommittees are responsible for, we chose to update old language. And language is important. And the chairperson of the Boards of Selectmen's comments on the need for language change, I think, as a citizen of Groveland, as a member of this board, and again, I'm not speaking for our entire board tonight, this is just me, I found them offensive. Experts in this field have chosen to use the term older adults. There are some people who consider the term elderly or senior citizens to be offensive. And I think that if the board chooses to change the language to older adults, that should not be a culture issue. Finally, I would just like to comment on the statement made at that meeting that this was an 11th hour change. And I'd like to ask Laurel if she could confirm what date we submitted our
Amended bylaws were submitted on February 1st, 2024 to the town administrator. And the last minute issues were that it wasn't in the format that she chose, and it was in March.
Early
So it's
March.
Early March, right before the warrant needed to be submitted, that we received, oh, this isn't the format that we need for the warrant. And it was kind of a last-minute request to change the format, and I am not that computer savvy, and I wasn't there that day, and I need it by the end of the day, but it sat on the town administrator's desk from February 1st until the last hour.
And not
And she also, when I handed that in to her, she had said she was going to have it checked by town council to make sure that everything was intact and correct and legal.
So,
So we had no expectation of it not being approved for the warrant.
right, and again, people get busy, and
Yes, yeah.
personally, I have to thank the town administrator and the finance board for their due diligence in this budget cycle. They had a very difficult task, and I would like to thank them for everything that they did to make sure that the town's services were maintained in this budget cycle. So again, I just want to make sure that everyone watching this realizes that we did not submit
Last minute.
those bylaws as an 11th hour submission. We thought we did it in full accordance with the schedule and the needs for to make the warrant.
Yes.
And, I'm sorry, I have one final point.
Okay.
And that is that the Board of Selectmen that evening, with their questions, which were fine, legitimate questions, they could have chosen to recommend unfavorable action, which is what the Finance Board did. They chose to recommend unfavorable action. In that case, it still would have stayed on the warrant, and we would have had the opportunity during discussion at town meeting to explain this. And if there was language that anyone felt was ambiguous, we could have at town meeting amended our bylaws to clarify any ambiguous language. That was an option that the Select Board chose not to follow. Thank you.
Can I add on to that?
Yes, please do.
For those of you who are wondering what this kerfuffle is all about, if you go to the April 8th Board of Selectmen meeting at 1 hour, 29 minutes, 29 seconds, that's where the discussion begins. And I want to add on to that our motives were questioned. And I want you to look at the board here. This board of bureaucrats who are accused of nepotism and cronyism. And I thought, this is kind of comical, that we are having this discussion that they don't really know who we are. I mean, we are the people who are volunteering to help build a community and help serve, and all you really need to know about us is that the mission is what our motive is. Mm-hmm. And if you don't understand what the mission is, succinctly put by our director, we're connecting people, we're caring for community, and we're delivering essentials. That's our motive.
And I think, to be fair, I would like to state that Selectman Watson, during the meeting, did make complimentary comments about the improvement in the services and the actions of the Council on Aging. And I would also like to say that Selectman Castronellis asked reasonable questions in that role.
It brought up legitimate concerns.
Brought up legitimate concerns, which is absolutely what we want our Board of Selectmen to do, is to bring up legitimate concerns.
I would like to make a motion before the board that the bylaw subcommittee meet with a representative from the Board of Selectmen and a representative from the Finance Board, our director, and the town administrator, so that we can put this to bed and move on together to the betterment of the town.
I second.
Can-
Oh, now discussion.
I don't know if, I know Laurel received an email
Yes.
requesting a meeting,
Yes.
and I don't know how that,
The meeting was that we meet with the boards, and I think that
At their meeting.
I think that I would rather have a smaller group so that we don't get some back and forth, because emotions are high.
Yeah.
So I'd rather do it in a smaller setting.
And I think if we can do that, explain our motives, and not necessarily, like you said, in a large group where everyone has, I mean, that's why we have our subcommittees. And I believe the Board of Selectmen has a subcommittee for just this type of thing, or at least has a designated person on that board.
I think that's Ed
It is with
Watson.
Ed Watson, and I don't know about Finance Committee or Finance Board, if they have specified people. And I just wanted to add, this is very, like personal. I was so hurt by the comments that were made that night, that it's like, that is not me, that is not any one of these people on this board or the staff of the COA, and to be lambasted on TV by the Board of Selectmen was not a very pleasant thing, and it says a lot about the leadership in this town. That's my comment. But I would second that motion, and is there any other discussion? Do we have a vote on this? Oh, yes?
I just wanted to say, I think it is very important that the misunderstanding. The misunderstanding and misrepresentations, there's a gap. And I think in a small meeting with honest communication, that gap can be bridged. And that I think would benefit all parties.
Right. Okay, any more? Okay, can we have a vote on the motion that's at the table, to have the bylaw committee have a meeting with representative from the finance committee, finance board, and the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator?
I'll second that.
Oh, I seconded it.
Oh, you seconded?
Larry made, I seconded, now we're voting.
Oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay. Next.
Can I just
Oh,
add
yes,
separately from
yes.
discussion there? I did, there's a forum for COA directors and was just curious about language, as you all know, and Deb pointed out, it is really important for so many reasons, but we're all changing, our PR for the COA. We have gone ahead and changed our language on marketing materials, but I had asked what other COAs are doing because everyone is, and that's not to say that just because everyone is, we need to, but some of the comments made was that they had, not only is it the right thing to do, but they have seen increase in their numbers, particularly for senior centers that have changed their names to older adult centers or something along that way and completely removed the word senior from that center name, as well as language to the bylaws, because people, as they should, they look at those things, and as we all do, we want to feel reflected in what we put out there and want to feel a sense of belonging. And I think, again, that just, for those that responded, certainly had seen an increase in numbers in whichever way that they have decided to update their language.
when you know better, you do better.
Well said.
Okay. Next, oh no, we had that already, that's Anisha's thing. The COA board meeting focus area for next month is the review of the community and statewide partners and elder law.
Yeah,
Okay.
that word for word.
Word for word, yes. It's right there in the agenda. Is there anything else that needs to be brought to the attention of the board? No? Okay, our next meeting will be May 15th, 2024, here at 9:30 in the morning. That's our next scheduled meeting. And can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting at 10:45 a.m.?
So moved?
Second?
Okay.
Was that
All in
Deb?
favor? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone in favor?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you.